All right. No going back. Jeremy, I'm live with you.
All
So
right.
let's carry on with the interview. Um, we mentioned actually in the UFE Facebook or the UFE Vengeance Facebook group that I'd be doing this interview. So I think it's really good as we kind of build our presence in Alberta, especially that some of the athletes out that way hear about kind of your introduction to UFE and your journey through it and what's going on now in your contest plans. So thought that would be pretty cool.
Sure.
And then just in general, I think a lot of the newer generation of people coming up like to hear like, how'd you hear about us and what's your experience like and kind of what's in it for me. And it's better that they hear it from obviously people like yourself that are living this experience rather than UFE, which is always trying to market itself. So
Yeah.
happy to have you here, Jeremy. And yeah, you really impressed us in 2017 when you first stepped on the stage. You killed it. You got the overall,
Yeah.
winning that show in the bodybuilding. So before we get to that moment, how'd you hear about us in the first place? Because it's always curious to see how people hear about us in Alberta.
Well, I did two other natural shows the previous year, so 2016. Um, and I was looking for natural shows to kind of take me to the next level. Um, and I knew there was a guy who went to my gym at the time who had competed at UFE, and he did well. And I saw his posters up too in our gym. I talked to him about it a little bit, and there was a chance to go to Toronto to compete at Worlds, which was the next step that I was looking for. So, uh, yeah, so I just decided to do UFE in Calgary, and then hopefully do well there, and then go to Toronto. That was my ultimate goal.
Yeah, amazing. And I don't think a lot of people realize that yeah, the UFE gives people a chance in Alberta to qualify for a natural show, and it's an international level natural show right
Yeah,
here in Canada. I think that's kind of the difference between us and some of the other natural organizations. So we'll kind of touch on your experience at the Worlds in a minute. But before we get to that, what would you say your experience was like at that first UFE Vengeance, and how did it compare to your previous experiences?
well, for me, it was great. I won the overall, so.
Yeah,
um, but it was a really well organized show, which is always nice to have. There's nothing worse than just running around crazy, especially on show day when everyone's tired and just wants to get it done with. The competition was good. It was different for me because I was used to weight classes, whereas this was open.
yeah,
Um, so that was a little different, but I liked it because it's if you're always beating someone that's bigger than you, being the smaller guy. I always
yeah,
compete at light, so beating someone always bigger was a good feeling for anybody. So yeah,
yeah,
UFE Vengeance was really good. It was a lot of fun on that show. Everybody's super nice backstage too. All the competitors, uh, everybody's very supportive. Everyone just wants to do
yeah.
well. We all went through the same work, the same diets. Everybody's finally there on show day, so very supportive.
Absolutely. So we're going to keep going through this, and I've got my questions, of course. But those of you watching, it's 5:14 p.m. Eastern time live. So if you're watching this on our Facebook page, if you guys want to come in um, and post questions or anything like that, I'll kind of shoot them over to Jeremy, because it's always good to have questions from others. If you're watching on YouTube, obviously this is a replay. But so you did well at the Calgary show. And yeah, just a note to competitors: we typically do have weight divisions, but at the smaller shows, we combine a lot of the bodybuilders. Um, but nonetheless, Jeremy, you took home the overall, and you did it's a smaller show, the Calgary show, in terms of bodybuilding. Like it's a decent number, but it's pretty small.
Yeah.
What was it like going from that and then going into Toronto and seeing these competitors from all around the world, and what was your experience like there?
It was pretty crazy and eye opening actually. Because I had to do the morning show because I was the elite. Uh, so it was the next step. It was a bit harder because everyone there had to qualify to be there, so it's not just an open show
Yeah,
to kind of walk into. Uh, so that was tough. Everybody was hungry to get that pro card. And then once I got that and did the pro show at night, that was another eye opener because everyone's dialed in and you don't know who's going to be there. It's the worlds, so you can't really scope out any competition until you're on stage with them.
Yeah,
It was tough. Everyone's there in the best shape.
absolutely. And what was so there's the competitive aspect, and what was it like in the backstage, kind of just hanging out with like the guy who won that year, Bill Cairns from Australia, seeing these competitors from, you know, the UK, Australia, all parts of Canada and the US. How was that for you?
It was great. Again, backstage, like at this UFC show or UFE show also, sorry. It was everyone is so nice and so supportive. There's no egos, no nothing. Everybody's sharing snacks, they're sharing secrets. Everyone's more than willing to talk to you, even if it is your first time or if you've been there before. If you've been there before, obviously, and you come back, then there's, you've seen these people, you've competed against them already. So everyone's just happy to see each other.
Yeah. So you did the Worlds in 2017.
Yeah.
You competed again last year. What would you say, doing those two shows, what would you say was your biggest takeaway after seeing all the other guys on stage in terms of the improvements you want to make the next time you do a show at this level?
You really got to crush your off season and then your prep. Because like I said, it's Worlds, so you don't know who's going to show up. But when they do show up, everyone's dialed in. You can't slack at all. The competition's another level. So yeah, looking to improve. If you think you're good, you kind of have to push it that much further.
Yeah.
To be prepared.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of that, not knowing who's going to show up, I guess the guy who won bodybuilding this year came from France. We didn't even know they were going to show up until the last minute. So yeah, that was kind of cool. So yeah. So going forward, are you planning on doing Worlds again this year? Or are you taking a year off? What's the goal?
My plan is to take this year off. Kind of break, yeah.
Yeah, and now you've got this is your fiance / future wife who's taken up the
there you go. Yeah.
Who's taken up the reins, and she's competing this year. So
yeah,
what are you thinking of that?
Really good. She's pretty excited. She did one show last year, so this will be her second one. She's ready to be done, I think, but she's pretty excited to get back on stage.
Yeah.
And then if she does well, she might even do Toronto this year too. So it's kind of up to her.
Amazing.
It feels, yeah.
Nice. And then, so you said you're going to take a year off. What would you say your plans are in general going forward as a bodybuilder? And what do you think keeps you going?
Well, as a bodybuilder, it's kind of a never-ending goal to put the size on. But in doing that, I did that last year, but I got a little too heavy, I think. So my conditioning wasn't quite there when I came down. So hopefully for next year, I'm going to keep the size and dial in that conditioning. And then hopefully I can bring a better package to Worlds and place top 3 for that pro show. That's my ultimate goal there.
The ultimate goal is the top 3 at the pro show. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. So we're going to see you though before that time. Any of the Alberta peeps who are coming out to UFE Vengeance, you're going to be judging at that show.
I will be.
So something I didn't prep you with in terms of the questions beforehand is, what's it like from the perspective, because you judged last year, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So what's it like from the perspective of a judge compared to a competitor?
It is completely different. Being a competitor and you see the other competitors and you can kind of, you pick out little things here and there, like this person needs that, or they got this, or they can improve here and that. When you're behind that table with a piece of paper, you tear them apart. It's it's really eye-opening, actually. Yeah. But you have to. That's the job. So
yeah, nice. And then you see that in UFE, we don't just simply rank the people. It's you literally need to mark them in 4 or 5 different areas and score them in each of those areas. So we try and make it a very accountable system. Absolutely. Yeah. So what do you think of that system compared to the ranking system?
I like it because there's definitely areas where some people aren't as good, and other people's may do better than them. So to have that system really, it makes it for a tighter race anyway to get top place. Whereas some people beat the other person here or there, or when you break it down like that, it's really down to the fine numbers.
Absolutely. So UFE has a few fit couples in the UFE Pro ranks. So I guess you're taking your year off. You've got your pro card. It's all good. And now it's time for the fiance to perhaps step up and see if you're the next UFE power couple, eh?
Yeah, hopefully. That'd be
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jeremy. I've got right now people watching the screen can see your Instagram handle there. So people who want to follow you on your journey towards the World Championships in 2020 can certainly do that. And I'm sure you've got some pics from previous shows, so
I do.
that'll be cool. So we'll see you.
Yeah.
UFE Vengeance in Calgary on June 1st.
First, yeah, I'll be there.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeremy.
Perfect. Thank you.